Okay, so I just wanted to show you what happens when you put down a bunch of what I've called in previous videos Founders Mix, or just a bunch of different vegetable seeds all mixed together. Again, you want vegetable seeds that are of as diverse a type as possible, because if you're going to try and take a gamble, it might as well be the most diverse gamble possible. That way you can have a better chance of finding something that works. If you're just throwing a bunch of the same one seed, right, that you maybe purchased from somewhere, you're really only getting one chance within, even if you put out 1,000 seeds. They're all genetically, if they're genetically the same, that's not going to do you much good. So here you can see this is butternut squash that I planted. This is 828 from the Row 7 Seed Company. Interestingly, here's what it looks like. It's a nice small kind of personal size butternut squash, Cucurbita moschata. And anyway, their goal is breeding something delicious, yield be damned. So that is one thing that's kind of interesting, is that most of the food crops that we eat tend to be bred not just for flavor, but also for things like logistics, and yield is a big one. But they're saying yield be damned, we want the best tasting squash anyway. So that's what they got there. All right, so in the process of doing that, I dug a little hole in the ground, and as you can see, there's anytime that there's sort of empty dirt like that, I try to just fill that gap with something. We could say that nature abhors a vacuum, and the same is true of blank soil or empty soil. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Here is some lettuce. That looks like another kind of lettuce there. All sorts of tomatoes. We'll see if any of these make it. It is about the middle of August here in 6B, Kentucky. But tomatoes don't make it. That's not a problem. They will die and make room for whatever is most sort of fit to be here. You can see that there's all sorts of stuff, lots of little kale seedlings as well there, and generally, right, all sorts of lettuce, kale, of course clover there blooming at the bottom. And when I see this, it's great, because it's like, well, that's something. Look, there's a little you can see carrot there, right? Carrot is one that's kind of tricky for me. That's not one that I have great luck with. So I'm trying to sort of breed into a better, more sort of robust carrot, something that works a little bit better with my lazy gardening style. And that's sort of the idea, is that you can sort of bend nature to your will a little bit by having a wide genetic base, selecting out from that genetic base for things that do well and that are appropriate to your growing conditions, and things that do well under your sort of culture, your agricultural ways of doing things, whatever that might be. And that can be as control freak or as sort of laid back as you allow it to be. So this is an example of what Founders Mix. Again, just a bunch of vegetable seeds all mixed together, thrown out to see what happens. This is what it can look like in your garden. Here's another one. Looks like the squash or whatever I tried to plant here didn't really take, but there's all sorts of stuff. Turnips, mustard greens. And again, this is a good way of knowing, getting a better sense of when to plant things. And I like to think of it kind of like, you ever see that movie Princess Mononoke, where there's that sort of magical beast that everywhere it steps, there are these flowers and plants that grow quickly after everything that it steps on. Sort of looks like that, you know. I do get a similar sense of joy and gratitude and beauty in seeing stuff just kind of come up. You know, and that probably, you know, you throw down a pinch of seeds or whatever, and you just say, you know, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Please, I thank you in advance. We'll see what happens. Oh, another carrot there. Right, so I'm very happy to see carrots. So anytime I have a blank piece of soil, right, for whatever reason, and again, you want to avoid uncovered soil. I would say that uncovered soil is a bigger sin than weeds, because at least weeds will keep roots in the ground, right? Roots in the ground means that you have a good fungal population, right, that's eating the sugars that are exuded from the roots in exchange for other nutrients. Dry soil, right? Dry uncovered soil is just not something you see in nature, and there's a reason for that. So you might as well, if weeds are going to grow, it might as well be a weed that you know. And in this case, this is not really a weed, but vegetables. Again, what is the difference between a weed and a vegetable? Really all just kind of in the eye of the beholder. But if you're doing things the way I do them, you'll have lots of seeds from saving seeds, and you can have the luxury of just kind of throwing things around. If only 1 in 100 take, that's still plenty. So anyway, that's the idea there. Give it a shot sometime.